This is Reefert Church, which means the burial place of the kings. And the tradition has it that Kevin was buried here when he died. We don't know where his grave is. The likelihood is even that his remains were removed from here and brought down to the old monastery near the round tower. But this church was built in the 11th century, but the site goes back much further than that. Of course, goes back to the 6th century, goes back to the time of Kevin. The environment here is very peaceful and very beautiful. It's surrounded by natural woodland, oaks, birches, hazels, alders, trees that have grown in this country for a long time. There's a great sense of nature here, and it's a beautiful place. It became a place of pilgrimage. I think people would have come to this place because Kevin's memory is here in a very powerful way, and perhaps his remains were here as well. The old Irish tradition didn't speak maybe about the place of death. It spoke about the place of resurrection, that the whole journey of life is about finding a place, the place of resurrection, a place where I could be at home, a place where I could be at peace, a place where I could finally die. A search goes on through life for a place where we finally feel at home. So this place is a place, I think, where you can feel at home and you can reflect on the whole journey of life, and that we're all going to pass out of this life. There's a saying, I suppose, that none of us are going to come out of this life or come out of this place alive. It's worth thinking about that. This is the site of St. Kevin's cell, the hermit cell. And the few stones that are remaining here, and I'm sitting on them, are going back to the 6th century. These were placed by human hand here in the 6th century. You could say these are the oldest stones laid by human hand that we have, from what they call dry stones. They didn't use mortar, they just built dry stones on top of one another. So there was a cell here, what they call a beehive hut, and this was here for hundreds of years. And it was a place where the hermit lived. And the hermit lived close to nature and contemplated, I suppose, the book of life, and met the mystery that surrounds us in the course of doing that. So it really is a place for sitting and for being silent. And I will sit and be silent and listen to the voice of God within me. And the old tradition, the older people would recommend to the young people, go sit in your cell and your cell will teach you everything. That means that you have to really find the word and find what you're looking for inside yourself. That's the way they approached life, and then they worked from the heart out. This piece of sculpture by Imogen Stewart illustrates the story of St. Kevin and the Blackbird. It's an old story, and it's that Kevin was praying, as they were wont to do for long hours during the night vigils, and his arm stretched out in the shape of a cross. But in the morning he found a bird resting in his hand. And he didn't drive it away, he didn't throw it away, he let it rest in his hand, and the bird laid an egg in his hand, and then he had to wait for all that time until a little bird was hatched out. Seamus Heaney, the poet who died just nearly 2 years ago, wrote a little poem about it called Kevin and the Blackbird. It's another version, it's another way of telling the story. And then there was St. Kevin and the Blackbird. The saint is kneeling, arms stretched out inside his cell, but the cell is narrow, so one turned up palm is out the window, stiff as a crossbeam, when a blackbird lands and lays in it and settles down to rest. Kevin feels the warm eggs, the small breast, the tucked neat head and claws, and finding himself linked into the network of eternal life, is moved with pity. Now he must hold his hand out in the sun and rain, like a branch, out in the sun and rain for weeks, until the young are hatched and fledged and flown.